Hello, humans of Earth, whoever may be finding themselves watching this vlog or whatever it is. I felt like making this video primarily to deliver two particular messages, and those messages are: one, life has a lot of pain, and two, I do not have the answers. Um, those are two things I want to make abundantly clear. I think I think it's possible with someone in my position, someone who's in a position of being um, somewhat of a public figure, and sort of often writing about um, and attempting to dispense wisdom and lessons that I've gained, and sort of sharing about my life and my lifestyle, traveling around and such. Um, it's easy to get the idea that I just have this awesome life, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm very grateful for the life I have, but it's easy to over romanticize it and think that I'm just living in a different kind of reality or universe, in which there's um, far less pain, or it's just kind of, yeah, all roses and wine and rainbows or something. And it's also easy when someone kind of like myself puts themselves in a position of kind of making their thoughts public and often saying things fairly confidently, because often I feel confident in particular viewpoints or intuitions that I have. It's easy to get the idea that oh, this person's really wise, they really know what's going on. I don't know, maybe some people think that, but it just seems important at this juncture, in this moment, uh, to clarify that I don't, in fact, have the answers. Yeah, I've been going through a lot of pain in recent weeks. The last couple months have entailed more suffering than most any other time in my life, than most times in recent memory. A lot of pain. I don't really want to go into the particulars, but it's been difficult and it's been humbling, and it's been a really good reminder that it's really important to talk about the fact that our lives contain plenty of pain, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Pain is, I think, an important part of the duality of life, and pain and pleasure to some extent are two sides of the same coin. What would day be without night? Would we even know real joy without the contrasting pain? And pain is often the best teacher. It deepens us, it strengthens us, it makes us more profound. So it's okay that there's pain, I think. Although that doesn't necessarily make it easier when you're in the middle of the shitstorm. It's life is hard. Life is really hard as a human being. There's a wide spectrum of experiences, and there are a lot of difficult experiences. And I think especially in this kind of social media age, in which we're all seeing each other's lives through these windows, and everyone's lives are kind of curated and photoshopped and filtered through Instagram filters. And really, I mean, just think about the effect of people selecting what you're seeing of their life on social media. It's so highly curated. People can basically show you just a highlight reel, and they can just show you the pictures, where they're smiling and where everything's wonderful, and there's a tendency to do that because you know, I don't know, people don't want to be a bummer, and people want to share their happy moments, and it's fine the way that it works, but it's just important to realize that social media can give a very distorted impression of what's really happening in people's lives, and often there's so much more going on beneath the surface, and really it's just like a key message that I want to communicate is just that no one escapes the pain of this world. If you live to be an adult, you're gonna hit some tumultuous patches, and when you get if you're above the bottom levels of Maslow's hierarchy, you're no longer experiencing the pains of struggling to survive, which are, a horrendous category of pain, but you can't really discount the struggles that occur above those levels either, because the struggle then just becomes kind of existential and emotional and spiritual, and those struggles tear people apart all the time. They're no joke. Dealing with tragedy and sickness and death and heartbreak, which we all deal with, that's a lot. It's a lot on our fragile, sensitive psyches, and it weighs us down sometimes, and it weighs me down sometimes. And in recent weeks, I've often had a hard time staying in touch with a sense of connection to my sense of kind of awe and inspiration and motivation, and it's been frequently difficult to kind of be engaged and care and want to do the things that I normally do, and that's okay. I think I think these periods are important for different reasons. I think there's different lessons that they have to teach us, but I think it's just important to share that that I go through things like this too. We all do. It's just it's the way life is. But I particularly don't. I don't know. Maybe this is just my imagination or projection, but I sometimes get this idea that some people look at me and that I don't show enough of kind of the pain of my life, because I often try to give people food for thought or inspiring messages or things of this nature. And so it's important for me that people don't see me as some kind of infallible or superhuman person who's beyond the struggles of being a human being. I'm totally just another human being, and life's hard sometimes. So just wanted to share that, and I also wanted to share as well that I don't have the answers. I don't have the final answers. I have a lot of suspicions, a lot of intuitions. I've been a very avid, curious student of life, trying to learn from so many different avenues, so many books and people and experiences, and really just avidly seeking the truth for a lot of years now. I just turned 28 yesterday, actually, so it's been about 10 years now, approximately, that I've been, maybe a little less than that I've been really sincerely engaged in taking seriously the idea that I need to build my own understanding of reality, and that I need to explore things for myself and find my own answers, and that's led me to some incredibly fascinating places, and I have a lot of quite elaborate models of how reality works, a lot of strong intuitions. Sometimes I feel incredibly deep conviction around some of my intuitions about how reality is, or about spirituality, or about there being just much more to this mystery of life than we commonly realize. Just these almost enchanted aspects or ideas of there being some kind of intelligence permeating everything, or some kind of, flow that you can tap into, and things and synchronicities are just kind of pointing the way along this path that's so much more than just a random chaotic accident. And I do feel that very deeply. But I also have to be honest about the fact that my brain remains an extremely skeptical instrument, and sometimes I have doubts about everything. Sometimes the intuitions that I often put forth with the most conviction, sometimes I doubt even those. Sometimes I wonder, am I just completely deluded? Have I gone completely down the wrong path? Am I completely just in left field? Am I totally wrong? And I don't know. And I think it is healthy to take that step back and be open to the possibility that at any given time you might be wrong about most everything. And really, I mean, it's statistically likely that, at any given moment we are wrong about, at least to some degree, about most of the things we think. It's tricky. There's definitely a way in which many different viewpoints can all be right and true in some sense at the same time. But in terms of, there's just, I don't know. Reality is slippery. Reality has a way in which it forever kind of evades compartmentalization inside of any kind of dogmatic human map or human system. So when you think you've kind of captured it, you've got your hands on it, you've found the truth of reality, this kind of castle you've made is, if you just think you've got the fixed truth of reality, it's going to tend to stagnate and become kind of this dead, lifeless thing, and it just doesn't work that way. I don't think the map can ever be the territory. It's tricky. Some would argue that we can have these direct experiences of truth, kind of mystical experiences where we just kind of download cosmic insight and stuff like that. And I've had experiences where it very much seems like that's happening, and that is the case, and that can happen, and that's happened to me. But I don't know. At the end of the day, I don't know what the truth is. I don't know what the final answers are. And so it's important for me that people realize that, I have a lot of suspicions. I have a lot of pretty strong ideas. Often my intuitions feel very strong, and I feel like a deep sense of kind of a heart or soul level knowing about certain things. I just feel like, God, this just resonates so deeply. I just know that this is true. And I'll express that sometimes, confidently, because it feels important to put those perspectives out there in a confident way to see if they resonate with other people. But I always encourage people to, at the end of the day, take seriously the idea that understanding the universe is your responsibility, because at the end of the day, your understanding is the only one that's going to be useful to you. That's kind of a paraphrase of Terence McKenna. And so, I hope, upon hope, that no matter what I say forevermore, I just hope people will realize that, above all, I am encouraging you to discover and forge your own understanding. And, if my ideas and my musings can help you on your path, then that's absolutely beautiful. But, ponder things for yourself. Anything I say, just let it marinate and percolate, and, hold on to what is useful and resonant. for as long as it's useful and resonant, and let go of the rest. Just put things through your own filters. Test things against the kind of compass of your own soul, your own intuition, your own discernment, your own rationality, your own intelligence. Always do that. Because, yeah, I'm just another human being. We're all just human beings. Another Terence McKenna quote, he said that one time the mushroom told him, for one human being to seek enlightenment from another is akin to a grain of sand on a beach seeking enlightenment from another grain of sand. Old Terence had some really good ones about the extent of human conceit and human delusion and the human capacity for self-delusion and kind of guru complexes and thinking we've got it figured out. And yeah, at the end of the day, you've got to trust yourself and realize we're all kind of stumbling around in the dark to some extent. This is an unfathomable mystery. That much I feel comfortable saying. We're in the midst of an unfathomable mystery. It is sublime and utterly surreal in its nature and proportions. It's vast, it's labyrinthine, it's many-layered, it's origami-esque, and it has many corridors and many secrets, and it's an endlessly fascinating predicament and opportunity to be a part of this mystery and an aperture through which the mystery is experiencing itself and learning itself and trying to understand itself. And perhaps what we're all doing is gradually rediscovering our essential nature as inseparable from this mystery, inseparable from the kind of infinite, eternal essence at the core of this mystery, whatever that might be. But I'm sure we're doing a lot of other things here too, just experiencing a wide spectrum of things, enjoying life, learning plenty of lessons. So yeah, at the end of the day, just remember, I'm human. Life has a lot of pain, for me as well as everyone. Any path you choose, there's always trade-offs. There's always pain. I don't have the answers. No one has the final answers. We're all kind of trying to decipher what's going on here, and you've got to build your own castle of ideas, or penetrate through the world of ideas to something deeper, or find your own satori, find your own enlightenment. Build your own understanding. Yeah, I think that's about what I wanted to say. So thanks very much for listening, and send you lots of love, lots of appreciation. I appreciate you for going through this struggle as a human being. It is often a struggle, but there's a lot of joy too, and near as I can tell, it's worthwhile. It's worthwhile. There's a lot to be learned, a lot to be experienced, so I wish you all the best, and yeah. Take good care. Peace and love.